Hello, beloveds. I pray that my internet connection stays stable. It was bouncing in and out. So I felt called to come live on here because I had gotten all ready to do a live with another sister, one of the speakers for the I Am Activation Challenge. And unfortunately, she's in Mexico and her power went out. So instead, here I am live on Instagram. It just felt so aligned to come and share from my heart. This was an impromptu live. We do not have anyone tuned in yet, which is totally fine because I am going to share this video on my page. And so for those of you who are watching this later, I welcome you to this transmission of whatever desires to come through. And I really just wanted to come on and speak a little bit about the I Am Activation Challenge that is coming up in a week and a half. And if you follow me at all, that's all I've been sharing about over the last few weeks. And it's not going to stop anytime soon because this event is so incredible. This event has been a labor of love. I had no idea that this was going to be happening so soon for me. But I would dare to say probably 6 years ago, I attended my first online summit. And what a summit is, it's a interview style event with many different speakers. And it's often one person that's hosting it, and they invite others to come and share their wisdom as it relates to a certain topic. And the first one I attended was absolutely incredible. It was spiritually based, and I was just blown away at the opportunity as an attendee to sit there and to listen to and learn from so many incredible people, truly leaders in their fields, share about their wisdom. And it's snippets, right? Like it's stories about their life. Stories about perhaps their dark night of the soul, their struggles, what they've gone through, and how and what they've done to get themselves into the place and space that they are in their life now. And I was so incredibly inspired. I was blown away. The amount of wisdom that you're able to receive, if you are anything like me, I love to learn. I have an insatiable thirst for knowledge, for wisdom. And so I'm always seeking, but with the kind of seeking that is so incredibly fulfilling. And really, it's just a remembrance, a divine remembrance of what we already know within. And so I witnessed the person who was interviewing these people have these incredible conversations, high-level, intellectual conversations about spirituality, about transforming their lives. And I was just in awe. And I thought, I want to do that one day. I want to host a summit style event. I want to interview light leaders, visionaries, way showers, change makers, and to hear their stories. There's so much beautiful value in getting to hear somebody share their story. It's incredibly healing, in fact, for all people involved, the person sharing and those that are receiving. And so to hear other people's stories of what they've been through, the hardships, the heartaches, the struggles, the pain, and how they took these perceived problems, if you will, and these struggles and turned them into gold. Turned these life experiences into their soul's power. And not only their soul's power, but are able to turn around and then share that with the world to inspire others into their own greatness. So really, that is a huge piece of this I Am Activation Challenge event. I have 13 amazing speakers that are coming to share and to speak to you. And when I say amazing, I say that word often, but I really don't take it lightly. These people are incredibly profound. They're amazing embodiments of divinity. They are healers, they are way showers, they are visionaries, they are oracles, they are channels, they are authors. They're out there doing big, big things, making the world a better place, sharing their wisdom, sharing incredible tools to support that they utilize to support you and creating real transformation in your life. We came to this planet on a journey of becoming. We came to this planet to experience ourselves, to learn, to grow, to create. And in that, we have incredible desires that have been placed in our heart that we want to achieve in this world. We want to experience things that we want to have, things that we want to do, things that we want to create, a vision of who we want to be and how we want to show up in the world. And these desires are so sacred because these desires are quite literally the desire of Source, the desires of God, the desires of the one infinite creator to be experienced through you, through your life. And I've talked quite a bit about unity consciousness, which is so much what this event is about. It's understanding what is unity consciousness. What is this term? What is this phrase? And I've been so blessed to study consciousness over the last 7 years, to truly understand what is consciousness as it relates to us and the world at large, because everything is conscious, everything is sentient. And so we have what we call our ego consciousness, which is our third dimensional reality consciousness, and it's rooted in limitation. This idea that we are limited beings, that we exist only on this planet for a short period of time, and that we are also inherently separate. The ego is about protection. The ego is about worry. The ego is always thinking about the past, lamenting about what we've done, judging ourselves about where we are now or what we have or haven't done or how we did it. Or it's thinking about the future and worry and concern, trying to make sure that we stay alive. The ego is about survival. And it's about separation, seeing ourselves as separate from others, because that's what survival is about. This idea that we have to protect ourselves from the world, protect ourselves from others, so that we can stay alive and so that we cannot hurt again, right? The ego is incredibly important. It's a very important piece of who and what we are. Without our ego, we wouldn't do a thing. It's a beautiful piece and aspect of us. So we don't want to transcend the ego, which is what some older spiritual teachings are about. Instead, we want to lovingly tell the ego, it's okay, I've got it, our higher self has got this. And we want to invite the ego to get out of the driver's seat, sit in the passenger seat with our inner child in the back, so our higher self can take the wheel and can be in control of our life. So much of how we live is conditioned. It is programmed. And it's not what we chose. We were born into a particular family, which we did technically choose, and a community, and a specific place on the planet. And from the ages of 0 to 7 or 0 to 9, 10, 11, 12, our operating system is programmed. And things happen to us that we don't understand. And our ego starts creating stories to protect ourselves moving forward. So then when we become older, we get triggered and we don't know why. Or something happens and we go into a fight or flight response and we really don't know why, because it's automatic. It's our reptilian part of our brain. It's automatic. And we're operating unconsciously. And so that's really what I believe spirituality to be about. It's about self-awareness. It's about becoming conscious. Instead of operating unconsciously from a place of reaction, instead consciously from a place of response. So when you start becoming self-aware and more conscious to what you're doing and how you're moving through this world, you realize you've got a set of beliefs that you really don't want to own anymore. Beliefs that are inherently limiting. Like, I'm not a good singer, or I can't speak and share my voice because people will judge me. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy enough of love or of abundance, of prosperity, of a life that I absolutely love. And even though, because we are multidimensional beings, it's like there's so many parts of us living in us, talking to us all the time, you have your higher self, your soul self, that is not limited, that is unlimited, that is not local, but non-local, that is quantum, that exists outside of time and space. And that part of you knows that that is not true. The ego's beliefs, the ego's conditioned program beliefs and way of operating is simply not true. And the more that we become aware, we realize that the majority of our thoughts that we're thinking are negative, are so negative, because again, they're the ego that sits there in judgment because it's in separation, trying to protect ourselves, keeping us playing really small. And this is not what life is about. You did not come here to live a life of conditioned programming. You did not come here to live a normal life. You came here to live an expansive life of bliss, prosperity, joy, a life that you absolutely love in every area of your life. The old adage that you can't have it all is a lie. You can have it all and more. This is what unity consciousness is about, source consciousness. This is what the higher self is about, our limitlessness, the truth of who and what we are. And so when I was tuning into creating an online summit style event, which I really wanted to do because it's a free event, totally free, where I just get to share with you all what I've learned and been studying over the last 7 years. And really, it's not learning. I come back to this because it's remembrance. We're remembering what we already know. Because this is our first lifetime. This is not our first rodeo. And for many, it won't be our last. And we're beginning to understand that time and space is not linear. And we're beginning to understand that everything is enfolded in each other. And so all of these lifetimes, which you have hundreds, 500, 600, 700 lifetimes on this planet alone that you are currently experiencing. Lifetimes of profound mastery, mystical lifetimes, where maybe you were a witch, or you were a priestess, or you were a bard, you were a medicine man, a shaman, a medicine woman, and then the normal ones too. Because we wanted to come here to this planet. Often people call what we're experiencing here a earth prison, a prison planet. And that is so far from the truth. If you want to believe that, you can believe that, and your reality will reflect that. But I choose to see Earth as a playground for life experiences. And when you are living from your ego consciousness, this idea of survival and separation, then yeah, it's going to feel like a prison, because you're going to feel like life is happening. You have no control over your life. and everything is happening to you. But when you begin to see Earth as a playground and moving into your higher states of consciousness, moving into your higher self, you begin to realize you've chosen all of this, all of it, for your highest and greatest good, to learn, to grow, to expand, to evolve. It is said that the one infinite source creator, welcome some beautiful angels that have joined the beautiful, amazing prime source creator, the unified mind, God, goddess, whatever it is that you call this higher power. Hello, Yasin. This higher power created of itself to know itself. It is often said, especially in the esoteric mystery school lineages, that the very first question asked by the unified field, by Creator, was, who am I? And then the second question was, and what can I become? And I love that because it really is a testament to our purpose and why we exist. Because it began creating of itself the universes, the planets, sound, light, all of these different expressions of life, and gave it free will and said, okay, with so much love in Creator's heart, because it knows that everything it's created is itself. And so rooting in deep, deep, deep self-love said, I love you, I love me so much, I will gift you your individuated experience and free will. And now go out there, go out and do, be, create, whatever it is that you want to do, be, and create for yourself. And we did. We went out and we did and have done and are doing so many amazing things across the multiverse, my loves. Across the multiverse. You are human, yes, but you are so much more. You have existed on so many different planets. You've existed as so many different galactic beings. You have existed and are existing as balls of light, as an angel, or what we call angelic beings. You are creating and have created your own worlds, your own realities. And when we, and likely many of you came from another universe. I know I did. But I was attracted to this universe. And I was attracted to, just like you, to this particular planet, Earth, and this amazing Earth experiment that is going on. This experiment in consciousness. And even beyond that, this experiment in galactic peace. Isn't that so incredibly beautiful? I affirm, sister. Yes, my galactic sister over there. My Andromeda, or no, I was saying Andromeda, but yeah, Andromeda sister. We are so much more than we realize. But that's okay because we're awakening up to this truth and we're remembering. But that was part of the plan. Because if we knew how infinitely powerful we were, if we knew how miraculous, if we knew we were all things, then when we pop down into this temporary experience, it really wouldn't work, right? We wouldn't be able to learn and grow at the level in which we get to learn and grow by forgetting. So we incarnated through this veil of illusion to forget who we are, just so we could remember who we are. And that's where we are right now. We are moving into the golden age of prophecies, the golden age of miracles. All of the amazing, beautiful beings, the ascended masters that we work with and we've likely lived lives with, Yeshua and Mary and the Essenes in that time period, Isis, Assis, and Hathor, and all of those amazing, beautiful beings in Egypt, the Atlanteans, the Lemurians. Like, we are moving into a golden age of prophecies, a time that has truly been prophesized about. We are moving into a time of collective embodied ascension. It used to be that ascension was an individual experience, right? And it also used to be that when you ascended, it was a leaving the planet type of thing. You were leaving your body, you were exiting ship, but no longer. We've come into this particular time to anchor our light, which means to embody our light while we're still in physical form, so we can transmute our carbon-based DNA back into our light body, and we can be lights for one another, and we can support one another in our collective ascension journey. Sweet Diana sister, I love seeing you here. She says, we let the path unfold organically as we remember we become. Yes, it does unfold organically. And also because everything is not either or. And the deeper you get into spiritual concepts, you realize it is a giant paradox. It's a giant paradox. Because yes, we want to let it unfold organically, but also evolution takes action. It takes choice. It takes you choosing and to show up every day and remind yourself of that choice. But also, you must surrender. You must let go of attachment, and you must allow. It's this beautiful balance, right? Of action and allowing, the masculine and the feminine, the ebb and the flow. But when we force, when we push, when it doesn't feel good, we're really not supporting our evolutionary journey in the least bit. It's about inspired action, aligned, inspired action. We sit, we wait, we receive, we open ourselves up to receive the next steps, and then all of a sudden, boop, we receive some guidance. The right person comes into our life, the next teacher or mentor comes into our life, the next program, whatever it is, we start receiving guidance and we start following that guidance. And that's truly how we allow it to unfold so incredibly organically. This is such an amazing experience to be a human on this planet at this time. We are on the precipice of radical transformation. Since 2012, especially 1987, there's these like beautiful, what do I want to call it? These beautiful like checkpoints for our conscious evolution as a collective. 1987 was the harmonic convergence. 2012, huge radical shift. A portal opened, a divine planetary alignment allowed Christ consciousness, which we're now understanding that Christ was a title. And this experience of Christ consciousness is the same as unity consciousness, which is activated in the heart, love. This idea of Christ unity consciousness started coming back to the planet. And we just recently experienced that 10-year anniversary, 2022. And we're not stopping. The ball is rolling. The whole experience of COVID. Oof. What we can realize when we begin on this journey of polarity integration, which is what Christ consciousness is. Christ consciousness can only be activated by integrating your masculine and feminine polarities, or really by integrating polarity, all polarity, which we often see that as masculine, feminine energy on this planet. Diana says that surrenderance, go divine flow that pulls and pushes us for our mission. Yes. It's the beautiful ebb and flow of the push and the pull, which again is the masculine and feminine energy. The masculine is the action, the feminine is the receiving. The masculine is often the logical mind, whereas the feminine is the intuitive mind. So when we bring these two into a beautiful harmonic balance, we activate our own innate Christed consciousness. We crown ourselves as the kings and queens, the sons and daughters of God, of the Most High. We activate our Merkaba field, which is a sacred geometry, which is our soul light vehicle. We activate our 12th dimensional blueprint. We are so much more powerful and vast and interesting than we realize. It's such a beautiful world out there, and this truly is an earth playground. It truly is an earth playground. And even when you know that to be true, it doesn't mean that life's just going to be smooth sailing, which is why it is so incredibly important for us right now to find our soul family, Because with great, profound missions comes profound adversity. That's just how it is. And you're not going to always be on an energetic high. Because the moment that you choose to live into your soul mission, the moment that you choose a higher state of consciousness, the moment that you choose to begin embodying your higher self, it's like sand. Anything that's not in alignment with that new truth that you've chosen has got to come out. It's got to go. It can't stay. When you draw in more light into your body, the shadow comes up to the surface. Again, like the sifting of sand. And the shadow is just parts of us that we've experienced, that we've often suppressed and repressed because our ego's been ashamed of those things, because our ego, again, is in separation and judgment. And so when we begin to come into this understanding that the integration of polarity is the path to our enlightenment, the path to our ascension, the path to higher consciousness, we begin to no longer judge our shadow. We no longer judge ourselves. We realize that life is not happening to us, but rather for us and by us. And everything that we've chosen and we perceive as negative experiences and we judge can be transmuted into our greatest power and strength. And so we begin to befriend our shadow. We begin to befriend these experiences that we've had. And the first step to any healing and to any expansion of consciousness really is acceptance. We first have to accept, radically accept. I chose this. And there's a gift in this if I allow there to be. So first, I should probably say first is awareness. First, we must be aware. Second is acceptance. And then through that acceptance, we can move into love. And when we begin showering ourselves and that part of us with love, instead of judging, which we've previously been doing, we then move into healing. And then we can integrate those parts of us. The integration of the shadow and the light. And honoring the fact that we are it all. And that the shadow serves the light. I once heard this from somebody else, I can't remember who it was now, but that the darkness serves the light. Often in the spiritual journey, we get a little bit in judgment of these negative entities that we say are negative, that are holding us back, right? We start peeling away the layers of ignorance, if you will, and we begin understanding that the world is not as we were taught it was. And there's a lot that we have been lied to about, a lot that has been intentionally hidden from us. Why do you think that they were called mystery schools? They were called mystery schools because they had to be shrouded in mystery. Because at one point, this information was widely known. But there are some beings that prefer power and control over, and they have been here since the beginning for hundreds of thousands of years. And they have killed probably every one of us. At some point in time, at some life that we have lived or are living, they've killed us. We've died because we've shared or embodied these truths. We've worked with the energy of the planet. We knew how powerful we were. And most recently, the witches, right? The witch trials. I mean, hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of women and men were murdered because of how powerful they were, because that these beings are so scared. So mystery schools were necessary. The idea of this information being esoteric and held and known by the few. But no more. No more. The golden age. A new era, as Diana said, a new era. Where we have access to all of this information and more. And more. And we are sharing it openly because we know that we will not be persecuted and killed. We might be persecuted a little bit. I'm sure if any of you are like me, you probably have some family, some friends that when you talk about this kind of stuff, they're like, she's crazy. Who is this person? I grew up with a very religious background. I was the religious one, actually. And so there's so much about what I believe now that version of me would have looked at and said, oh, that girl is going to hell. So I can only laugh at that part of me now because I know that is, not even just laugh, but have so much grace and love for that part of me, for the Christian part of me that would truly judge all that I believe to be true now today. But no longer do we have to shroud this information, this wisdom and mystery. We can share it, and that's what we're here doing. And that's why my heart, my soul called me to create, to really co-create with the divine, the I Am Activation Challenge. The intention, it's a free event, but the intention is to submerge ourselves, to emerge ourselves in the frequency and the energy of unity consciousness. Because we are so heavily programmed and conditioned and have been our entire life to believe in limitation and separation. We have so many stories that we've created about how we're unworthy, we're not loved, we're not good enough. What we can and can't have, create, do, or be for our life. And so the more time that we spend reminding ourselves of the truth, and that's what mental reprogramming is, or subconscious reprogramming is, right? Where you become aware of your thoughts. These predominantly negative thoughts are continuously circulating and creating emotions that make you feel icky. And so we become aware and we choose differently. And so the more that we can submerge ourselves in teachings and wisdom and frequencies and the consciousness and the truth of who and what we are as divinity embodied, the more that we believe it, and the more that we live from that, the more that we embody it, the more that it becomes our truth. And so we get to spend 11 transformational days together, submersing ourselves in these frequencies, submersing ourselves in these truths. And we're going to work at a multidimensional level. We're going to work at a quantum level. Quantum is the 0 point. It's the still point. It's where unlimited possibilities exist. Our limitless self our highest aspects of self. And so we're going to submerge ourselves and dive into in activations so we can activate these source codes of who we really are. And we're going to work with a profound group, collective of interdimensional, galactic ascension teams. We are not in this journey alone. You've got so many people behind you supporting you. People, rather, I should say, spirits, beings of love behind you supporting you. Ancestors, spirit guides, angels. And beyond that, so many amazing galactic ascension teams. And we're going to work with these amazing teams, and they're going to support us. And beyond that, we're going to work with our highest aspect of self, our I am presence. We are so multidimensional. And we're going to invite this highest aspect of who we are to support us, to activate these source codes within us, to activate our DNA, our light body. And when we activate our DNA, when we activate our light body, it supports our remembrance. And we begin to remember our myriad of lifetimes of mastery, our myriad of lifetimes across the multiverse, our myriad of lifetimes on this planet. Our consciousness expands. Our intuitive gifts become stronger. Our psychic gifts become stronger. Our manifestation and co-creation abilities get stronger. We become superhuman. Because that's who we really are. The beings that we view as ascended masters, and Yeshua comes to mind because he's such a profound teacher and friend for me. We see their greatness. We see the miracles that they were able to perform. And we stand there in awe. And even Yeshua said that you can do all that I can and even more. And finally, with the return of Christ consciousness in 2012, finally, with the return of the Mother God principle to our planet, we are able to come into our own harmonic balance. And when we balance our masculine and feminine energies, we ignite our own Christ consciousness. We ignite our superhuman capabilities. And we truly become the master creators of our reality. There's all of these amazing words, like these buzzwords and these ideas. And sometimes we hear them and we're like, oh yeah, that sounds amazing, but that's not for me. Like part of us may say, yes, that's what I want to create, do, be. And there's likely a part of us, our human part, our ego part, that says, no, we can't do that. No, that's not possible. So the more that we remind ourselves that that is possible, and the more that we begin to understand that these aren't just woo-woo concepts. Quite literally, science, quantum science, and the science of consciousness. There are so many studies being done around consciousness. And even the whole field of quantum physics alone is proving all of these woo-woo spiritual concepts. And so we can actually mentally understand this stuff. And if you're anything like me, that was my introduction into the spiritual world. Coming from a Christian background, coming from I was a student. I was a top of all of my classes. I went to college on an academic scholarship. Like, very Christian, as I shared. Like, I couldn't, like, when I heard these ideas of manifestation, it didn't interest me at all because I didn't get it, right? Like, there wasn't an understanding that I had behind it. But now we have the ability to understand. And when we can understand, which is our masculine, our logical, linear thinking, when we can understand, it supports us in trusting this information. And then when we start trusting it, we start implementing it. And when we start implementing it and we realize, oh, this is real, it's actually happening the way that it said it would, then we start trusting ourselves. We start trusting these concepts. And then we begin to believe them. And we realize, oh, this is real. This really is real. I am the master creator of my reality. I am able to manifest and create what I desire and require with ease and grace, simply by learning and applying tools and practices and the laws, or rather the principles of our reality. There are principles, there are laws to this world in which we exist in. I love universal law because for me, it's like playing a video game. If you were playing, although I don't play video games, but if you were to play a video game, or any game for that matter, and if you don't know the rules, you're not gonna be very good at it. And over time, through trial and error, you might figure it out a little bit. But if you were to learn the rules of the game, think about how much more amazing you would be at that game. And eventually, as you begin to apply the rules of that game, you become a master of that game. And truly, that game becomes your playground. And that's what we're doing here. There are a set of principles, a set of laws or rules to this game. And when you begin to learn them and learn how to apply them, you become a master of them and of this game, this illusory reality that is this human experience. And just because this is an illusion, because it is, because it's not really who you are, it's like a play, right? Or a movie. You're like, okay, I want to play that part. And I want this person to play that part. And I want this person to play that part. And I'm going to do this. And then you pop into the game, the simulation. And then you're playing it. You're experiencing it. So let's learn the rules of the game. Let's begin to embody the rules of the game. And the reality is, too, is that, and what I've learned, and we call them the laws of the universe, right? There's 12 or more laws of the universe. What I've uncovered is that there's really only one law, and the rest are just principles, because they're distortions of the one law. Kind of like light. We've got white light, and then it goes through a crystal, and it refracts into all of these different colors. Those are essentially distortions of the white light. We've got the one law. The one law, the main law, is the law of one. It's the law of divine oneness. It is unity consciousness. It is what I was sharing that quantum physics is now proving. And this is simply put that the all, everything, every shade of reality, everything that exists is the one. Is God, is source, is the unified field. And the unified field, the one, is the all, is everything that you see, including you. And from that perspective, we are one with source. We are one with the unified field. We are one with the source of all life and all reality. Which means that everything that source embodies, everything that we attribute to God, to the universe, we also embody. And that's what I call the source codes. So when we think of God, when we think of the infinite, well, we think of it as infinite, right? Infinite, limitless, omnipresent, which means it's everywhere, omnipotent, all-powerful, omniscient, all-knowing, all-loving. In fact, it is love. It's abundant. Because there is no end. We think of all these amazing, amazing things that we outsource as God, as the divine. But what unity consciousness is about is understanding that that is you. That is actually the truth of who you are. At your core, at the core of who and what you are, that is your highest truth. And everything else is an illusion. It's an experience that you chose to get to know yourself more. And for your returned path to God, your returned path to Source. So I invite you, if any of this is piquing your curiosity, if any of this is lighting your soul on fire, if any of this is making you say a full body hell yes, or if you're just like, I have no idea what this woman is talking about, but part of me is like incredibly like wants to know more, then I invite you to join us for the I Am Activation Challenge. It's an 11-day immersion in unity consciousness. We're going to go through a source code every single day, and I'm going to talk to you and explain some of the concepts to you so you can understand them at a logical level. And then we're going to go into this quantum space and work with these multidimensional beings so we can activate them within your morphogenic field so you can embody them. And then, because we are multidimensional, that's not enough, right? Knowing and then receiving energetically is not enough. And now we got to take action. Now we got to bring this into embodiment, into a lived way of being. So each day, I have embodiment rituals, action items, home play, for you to bring these concepts into your daily life. Action is where the magic is. Action is where the transformation lies. If information is all that we needed, then we would all, I've heard this as a quote before, if information's all we needed, then we'd all be skinny and rich. Information isn't enough. We need to take action. And often we need accountability to take action. We need a support team. And that's what this event is about. This event is a support team. You're coming together with your family of light. I've got you. We've got you. So after you learn about these source codes, after we activate them at an ethereal quantum level, then we've got these embodiment actionables, these embodiment rituals. Hello, sweet Erica. And you've got your support team with you. And it's totally free. All you have to do is invest your time. Be willing to show up and play full out. Because the level in which you show up, the level in which you set your intention, and you show up into this container is going to be the level in which of what you're going to receive from it. So if you come to all of the lives that you can make, if you watch the replays for the ones that you can't, if you do the embodiment rituals, these are powerful, guys. These are quite literally my number one spiritual practices that I do regularly. Like if you come and you do these things, oh, I can promise you, you are going to be a totally different person on the other side. A totally different person on the other side of this. You're going to look back and it's going to be a death and rebirth. You're going to look back at the person you were before this challenge, before this event, with so much love and grace, and you're going to be amazed at the new level of consciousness and the new level of embodiment and the new way in which you show up in the world. So come, playful out. Receive all that is available for you to receive. Activate and remember the highest truths of who you are. And do the actionables, do the daily rituals. Because again, these are potent. Action is where the magic is. Action is where the transformation lies. It's going to be such an amazing experience. I am so excited because I get to also submerge myself in these energies and frequencies of unity consciousness for this 11 days, 3 weeks. And the more that we submerge ourselves in these higher frequencies, the more that we remind ourselves of the life that we want to create, the more that we remind ourselves of the truth of who we are, not as limited beings, not as separate from God, from Source, not as separate from each other, but as aspects of God and Goddess embodied here experiencing ourselves. The more that we live this truth, the less that we have to pay attention to our thoughts and our emotions, the less that we have to keep reminding ourselves, the less that we get triggered. And the more magic and miracles we welcome into our life, quantum leaps become everyday reality. Every day you go to sleep and you wake up and you're a totally different person. You're more of who you really are. Because really and truly, that's what the spiritual journey is about. We go on this journey of seeking, and really it's just peeling away of the layers of all of the shit that we're not. This world, your parents, your teachers, your school, your friends, when you were growing up, told you who you are, and you believed it. And that's okay. But no more. It's time for you to choose who you are. Who do you want to be? What's your truth? How do you want to show up in the world? How do you want to feel every day? What do you really want to create for your life? Because your desires are sacred. They are the divine's desires, desiring to be experienced through you and through your life. And what's so beautiful is it's really not the desire that we seek. It's really not the thing or the experience per se, as it is the journey of becoming. When you play big, when you choose big, you dream big. The journey of who you become in that process is really what you're seeking. Because you won't be the same person on the other side of finally receiving and creating what you truly desire. And when you get there, you will be amazed. You will be in awe of you. Because you move past the fear. You move past the limitation. You move past all of the struggles and all of the hardships that came up during the process. And you didn't let it stop you. You persevered. You pivoted. When one door closed, you said, that's okay, that wasn't right for me then. And you looked around and you found a better door. And that is what you're really seeking. So join us, join your family of light as we all support one another and all that we desire to create for our lives. Because when you come together in a collective field like that, your dreams, your visions are magnified. We are not meant to do this on our own. You are not meant to do this journey by yourself, because it's not gonna be easy. It's not meant to be. The highs are high and the lows are low. And when you're in the low place, you need others around you to remind you of how powerful and amazing you are, to remind you of your vision. We must come together and do this together. So allow yourself to be supported by this amazing community of light workers, of way showers, of new earth visionaries. We are here to change the world. We're not here to live an ordinary life. We're here to change the world by being in it, by who we be, by how we show up, by how we love, by how we persevere, by how we transmute our pain into our purpose. So join us, join this collective field, find your family, find your tribe. There is a link in my bio to register, and if I will probably share this also in the I Am Activation group as well. So wherever you are finding this video, if you have not registered yet, I invite you to register. Simply by signing up, you will experience an energetic transformation right away. And if you're already registered and you're watching this, be ready, my loves. Be ready. Be ready to show up. Be ready to play full out. Be ready to have your mind blown. Be ready to have your paradigm shattered. Be ready to activate your superhuman capabilities. Be ready. Because what you give to this experience and the quality of intention and awareness that you give is what you will receive in return. So it's whatever you're ready for. This is year 1. I plan on doing this event every year until Spirit says otherwise. Because there's so much that we can receive in submersing ourselves in these frequencies again and again, and in these truths again and again. Not just once. It takes repetition. It takes devotion to live this path. I love you. I love you. I love you so much. I love you so much. You are so loved. You are so loved, and you are so worthy to live a life that you absolutely love. You are so worthy of a life that you are just in awe of, where every area of your life just lights you up and nourishes your soul. You are so worthy of that. We are one. We are not separate from each other. Your success is my success. Your happiness is my happiness. Your fulfillment is my fulfillment. That's why I do what I do. That is why I am here doing this. That's why I support in mentorship. That's why I am on this planet. Serving you is serving me. I love you so much. Thank you for being here. Not just in this space, not just on this live or replay, not just in the I Am Activation Challenge. Thank you for being on this planet. Thank you for hearing the call wherever you were in the multiverse and saying, yes, you raised your hand. You said, pick me. I'll go do that. I will go and make waves. I will go and change the world. I will go and serve and support others. I will do it. I will go transmute and heal the trauma of my family lineage. I'll do that. Let me do it. And Creator chose you to be here. And this isn't an easy place to be. I laugh because I heard this once and it's so true. This is a hostile work environment. We chose to incarnate into a very dense world, a very dense experience. And we chose the dark. We chose the shadow. We chose the pain and trauma because we knew that we could alchemize it. We could transmute it into so much more. And then we could turn around and use that to serve others and to serve the world. I love you. Mwah.